Hello, Gita here. In this video I'm going to talk about diastasis recti. Diastasis recti occurs often during pregnancy. What happens is our abdominal muscles, rectus abdominis muscles that are separated into left and right, during the growth of the baby and your abdomen and your belly, the muscles often split, creating a gap. And that gap is quite natural. However, if the gap is wider than 3 centimeters, it's considered to be diastasis recti, DR. And it's really important to understand, be aware of this possible scenario for you to happen. It happened to me while I was pregnant personally, and it happens to a lot of women. And it's important to be aware of things to consider to not make the situation worse, and what to do if your gap is wider than 3 centimeters also. So I am going to begin by saying what things can prevent diastasis recti happening or worsening. So first thing is your stance, how you stand. We spoke about this already in the previous videos. Pelvic thrust is not a recommended postural habit in general, and especially for diastasis recti prevention. So make sure when you're standing that you back your hips up so you don't create that extra load for your abdomen. The same thing with the rib thrust. If you're thrusting your ribs, you're not only damaging your lower back, you're also creating that extra pressure in your front abdomen, making your abdominal split even further. So making sure that your rib cage is down and relaxed and your hips are backed up. So you are backed up towards your hips, towards your heels, your hips over your heels, and your rib cage is relaxed. So these are two most important things to remember in the posture, in the sense of posture. Another thing to remember is high impact activities. They can increase the loading in your front abdomen and actually worsen the situation in relation to the diastasis recti. So anything running, jumping, skipping, burpees, front-loaded exercises such as planks, push-ups, traditional ab exercises, double leg lifts, crunches, sit-ups, they can all worsen the separation in your abdomen during pregnancy and postpartum as well. So coming back to exercising straight away after pregnancy can be quite harmful towards the diastasis recti and continuing split of the abdomen. So it's important to repair the core musculature to prepare it for the further higher impact exercises or core exercises. Another thing to consider is excessive. So when you're doing your exercises, let's say you're doing some kind of abs exercises, or you're doing any kind of exercise, and if you notice that your belly is bulging, coming into like a dome shape position, that means that the load, intra-abdominal pressure is created by the load in your body is too much for you. So you have to watch out for that dome shaped belly happening. If your belly is bulging, it means that you have to modify or stop the exercise. So that's also to consider. And if you have a larger than 3 centimeter gap, you can, and I recommend consulting women's health physiotherapist, and they can help you to restore your core and your diastasis recti. I'm going to show you a quick test now that you can do yourself at home for your own test for diastasis recti. So for that, we will need to lay down on the ground. We're going to lay down on the ground, on your back. Your knees will be bent and your feet will be flat on the ground. And diastasis recti, the gap, the separation of abdominal muscles appears anywhere from your sternum to your pubic bone. So that's where you are checking for your gap. So the way to, first of all, just get to know your abdominals and have a look, have a feel. if you feel anything like a gap or wider gap. So that's the first step. The second step, we're going to, now what we're not going to do, we're not going to do a sit-up or a crunch. We're simply going to tuck your chin under and lift your head up. That's all we're going to do, just a head lift with a tucked chin. And now you're going to check just above, couple of centimeters or 3 centimeters above your belly button. Check that area there and notice if you feel the gap. Is the gap deep? What's the texture of the skin? Just above your belly button, 2 or 3 centimeters above. You can of course check upper and lower as well, but mostly where diastasis recti happens is just above the belly button. The next, last part of our test, we're going to, from head down position, we're going to lift our head up in the tucked chin position, and we're going to do it with an exhale and a slight contraction of the pelvic floor. So inhale, inflate your lungs, inflate your diaphragm, and on the exhale you're going to lift your head and exhale, exhale, exhale. And while you're exhaling, check that area above your belly button and notice if there is a separation there and how wide is the gap. Can you feel the gap? Can you feel the skin, the tightness of the skin, or is it loose, or what is happening? And this simple test can give you an indication of what's going on. If you need further assistance, you can go to a women's health physiotherapist and they can assess you further. So now, safe way to get up from laying down to seated, rolling. Roll, especially if you're pregnant or newly postpartum, especially first year, making sure that you don't damage your core or your diastasis recti even more. You're going to roll onto one side, place your hands on the ground and lift yourself up while you're using your upper body strength, not your abdomen, because your abdomen might not be ready for the crunch sit-up just yet. So that was our diastasis recti video, and thanks for watching. Let's be aware and let's share this information with other mommies so everybody knows what is diastasis recti, and there's nothing to be afraid. It's a very natural occurrence in many pregnant bodies, and there's a lot of things that can be done to help the situation to heal, and also time really helps as well. But during the time that the separation isn't healed, it's really important to avoid high impact exercises, lifting heavy, doing the traditional abs exercises that bulge out your belly. Things to avoid are super important to remember to not make the situation worse. And when you recover your core musculature, then you can return to all of the exercises and activities that you want to do. So safety first, awareness and safety first. Thanks for watching and see you soon.